You're tuned in to The Keetria Show and listening to SOB, Style of Business, the podcast with your host, Keetria. We aim to highlight the ongoing trek of entrepreneurs and business owners from around the globe, featuring stories that recount their struggles, experiences, and inevitable road to success and self-fulfillment. Welcome to SOB.
Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for tuning in for another inspirational episode of SOB Style of Business. I have an absolute treat for you guys today. I'm speaking with Ilona Selke, who is a best-selling author. She's a speaker. She's a lecturer. She's a musician. She's the co-founder of Living from Vision, which we'll talk about and get a little bit more into a little bit later. And then she's also the owner and creator of the Shambhala Retreat Center in the North Shore of Bali. And just so excited to have her on. She's going to be talking to us about daily inspiration and just the power of thought and our emotions and just different tools and things like that we can use. And also, she has a wonderful new book called Dream Big, The Universe is Listening. So without me giving too much, let me hand the ball over to Ilona, if you will, give us an introduction, and we will roll forward from there.
Hi, Keetria. Thank you so much for having me. And I love your enthusiasm with which you are making a difference in a lot of people's lives, because you put this show on and you put your lifeblood into it. And I am so excited to be helping out with that. And thanks for giving this platform for all of us to learn together. You know, I'll share my experiences, and with 57 years of life, I have a few stories to tell of how to make it easier to create success and be a spiritual person and to use the internal tools. I like calling it working from the inside out.
Absolutely wonderful. Yeah, and I know you are involved. We were just discussing before we got into the podcast, like you have so many different projects and events and all that other good stuff. But if you will, just give us an introduction for those who may not be familiar with your work and some of the things that you're involved with.
Well, like you already said, I write books, I record oodles of music CDs and guided meditation CDs, apps, online courses. And I am here making a difference in a lot of people's lives, figuring out that our mind and our consciousness works together with matter. So that's what my whole life themes and my husband's life theme is. I met him when I was 21. Do your math. It's been 6 years now. We've been together, working together in the overall theme of teaching people how our mind, how our thoughts interact with matter, and then how we can work from the inside, on the inside, and create external changes. So we don't have to work so hard. We'll just work smart. And so my husband and I have both developed a number of businesses. One is Living from Vision, which is teaching courses and materials of how to access your subconscious mind, how to strengthen your inner beliefs, your confidence, and how to manifest. You know, we have techniques and online courses and like steps, and I'm going to share some of those secrets today. And the other one is also technology, which is consciousness interactive. Yeah. And overall, you know, we are as humanity, we are entering the phase. We've entered a phase 100 years ago when the physicists realized, for a change, that we are living in a world they cannot explain. And they're figuring out more and more that even just observing reality changes the atoms, changes the material structure of what we think is material structure. And quantum physicists were the initiators for this paradigm shift, and more technology is evolving around it. And we work with some of this technology, and it is information that is imprinted into matter. I mean, even people who use some of our instruments to, let's say, make a plastic harder, but just giving information into a shoe, let's say the sole of a shoe, and it wears off less quickly than other shoe soles. So we are at a brink of a paradigm shift, but all of us, like your podcast, all of us are contributing to spread this information. My job that I find I do and what I write about is to do it in a way that makes it understandable for the everyday human, you know, with step-by-step descriptions of what we need to understand, how we need to understand the quantum world with the practical applications, what we can do to create effect with our consciousness consciousness on the time-space continuum.
Yeah.
And that we are no longer these pegs in the wheels. You know, our paradigm in the last couple of 100 years, it was like we have this machine, the universe is a big machine, and no matter what you are, you're just a little keg in the wheel, right?
Right, yeah.
And that's not true. That is absolutely not true. What we are is somebody who can focus their mind through inner exercises, and I will share some in a minute. When you ask me, I'll share some steps we can take every day to sharpen our tools, which is our mind and our consciousness, to create changes in this big whatever machinery it looks like life is, or in this big
right.
quantum field of potential is nowadays the buzzword, yeah? The holographic universe, maybe it's even like a hologram that we're living in, how our thoughts create the change, yeah. And that's the paradigm we're involved in. That's been the vision for all of our businesses, including the Shambhala Retreat Center, where people come to teach those kinds of seminars.
Well, I tell you what, it seems to me like the more, I guess those of us who are interested, the more you start kind of digging into going inward, as you say, in spirituality and stuff like that, the more information starts to unfold. So as I've been been along my journey or whatever, one of the things that I notice is I just keep getting tads and bits and pieces of information. And recently, your book, your new book, your Dream Big, The Universe is Listening. The title, first of all, it was something about the title that initially got my interest, because you hear about universal consciousness and the universal mind, and some of that stuff can be far out to those people who may not be at that point. But I found it interesting because when I actually got the book and I started reading and trying to really digest some of the things that you were talking about, I was like, okay, let me figure out the thoughts, the intentions, all of that stuff is part of, life transformation and how we can change our lives and things like that. And even beyond that, like the way that you talk about how powerful our emotions are when it comes to the way we feel and the goals and how that all plays a part. Can you tell us a bit about like the theme and what you were going for and why you felt it was important for you to share this information?
Well, let's start with the why. It's important because, first of all, nobody teaches it in universities. It works, and we all really need to learn the techniques. It should be in universities. As a matter of fact, I've written children's books, and I just got an email from one girl that learned these techniques when she was 5, 6 years old. Her mother taught her, and now she is in her 30s, has children, and she wants the newer, the latest, greatest online version. I have it as an app. Alan, it's ALIN, learns to use his imagination. So I have made it a point to teach this because you can teach this to kids, you can teach this to adults, you can teach it to people who are super intelligent. I mean, I've done this work for the last 40 years. And, every time I read even the same sentence over again, it's like, oh, yeah, right. Let me do it. Because how easy is it to get involved in all this distraction and the media and whatnot? It's like what we need is silence to go inward, to do the most important work. And as you said already, we need to get emotional energy involved. So let's just say we want to create a better life. Let's just say we've gone through a life change and we left a partner or they left us and we're like starting out new in a way, right? So what we need, and I saw this post in a Facebook, a friend of mine said, what do I do when I have all this sexual energy and I don't know what to do with it? It's like, well, he's just splitting up with someone. And I'm like going, yeah, of course you're going to miss it. But, and here's what I was going to say, is how do you create the condition to get your fulfillment, right? To get your fulfillment. And so typically we think, you go to on-site dating sites, you go to a club, you go to whatever, your church or whatever it is you do to meet people. Well, that's not the first step. Let me let you in on the secret. The very first step is you have to create an internal feeling and image, or a feeling and an internal knowing. Some people see pictures, some people feel more. So it doesn't matter whether you are a better feeler or seer or you just know. Yeah. But you have to create, let's just say, an internal state of the fulfillment of what it is you want. So let me get you a little story that gets usually this thing more visibly explained, more understandable. So I am 21 and I'm miserably married, bless my ex-husband. I love him today, but we were not happy as husband and wife. he didn't want to do anything I wanted to do, neither in bed nor in the books reading nor in meditation.
Yeah.
So I went to my meditation teacher and said, I am so unhappy. How can I change my husband or make him a better husband? Well, he said, you know what, dear? What you can do is create and imagine the state or the image, the feeling of what it is you really want to experience, and let the universe do the rest of the work. That's why I call it working smart instead of hard.
Yeah.
So I went and I did exactly what he told me, but he gave me a little warning, and this is important. He said, don't put a face on this internal state, this internal feeling of yours that you want to create. Just be in it for 5 minutes a day.
Oh, wow.
So I did it. I went home in the morning. I sat down. I said, okay, I want to feel. It's not he has to be rich and he has to look pretty and he has to be this and that. It was, I want to feel this glowing feeling of being understood, or what living in a spiritually fulfilling relationship where I'm sexually met, where I live a creative life, whatever is important to me, right?
Yeah.
So you fill in the blank for whatever that is for you. You start sitting down, and every morning just have 5 minutes. I mean, even if you want to just get healthy and you're maybe not as healthy as you want to be, or thin or whatever, sit down, close your eyes. If you want to create more of the money, feel what it would feel like if your desire was already fulfilled. Now, it's not thinking about how you get there. It's imagining solely for 5 minutes how it would be if you already had the fulfillment of your dreams and what that feeling would be like. Now, if it is money, just think how you would feel at wealth, or that whatever degree of wealth it is you want. Be specific, maybe. Every month you want X, Y, Z dollars. We're talking in America right now, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it's whatever your country is. Your country, fill in the blank of your denomination. I mean, like I live in Bali right now, and if I said I want 1 million, whatever, I get them every day. You know, I pay it with millions every day.
Exactly.
So be sure you give the denomination. And then feel what it would feel like if you had that degree of income or liberty or fulfillment with a partner or house you live in or whatever it is, your health. So feel it. And that's what the book The Secret didn't tell. It told us about that we need to visualize and describe things, but really the deepest and most profoundest change comes when people do these small daily exercises. We have an app for that comes along with a course called Living from Vision. However, if you hang in there for a couple more minutes, I'm going to tell everybody how to get a free app of how you can do this by listening to a guided meditation I walk you through for about 10 minutes every morning and every evening. Because there are several techniques. I want to share a couple more, but sitting down and feeling the end result. Now, I did it, and lo and behold, what did I do? Fell in love.
Yes,
With my meditation teacher, but it is, he said, don't put a
face to it. Yeah, exactly.
Don't. The universe knows better. It is listening always.
Yeah.
And what, of course, comes with it, when you create an end result state, when you create that feeling of where you want to be in the end, you basically say to the universe, I am capable of having this fulfilled feeling within myself. And you're no longer the silly donkey that is traipsing after that carrot. You know, the donkey that tries to reach the carrot when
never
you have
gets
that
it.
stick
Yeah.
in front. Okay. So we're no longer the carrot, the donkey with the carrot that it has just a foot away from its mouth, the perfect meal. No, we're eating the carrot. We're sitting there and feeling the fulfillment. And when you can switch from, I want to be there, to, let me have 5 minutes of luxury and I am there, and feel it. Not to excuse yourself to use the credit card the next 5 minutes later.
Exactly.
No, you wait until the money comes in. You do have the husband the wife walk into your life, or the boyfriend, girlfriend. And then you start celebrating. But you create the fulfilled state in advance. So that's number one. And in order to do so, I give away an app for free. We'll tell you in a minute. After a couple more questions I take, I guess that we'll talk a little bit more. But did I answer your question?
Oh,
did
yeah.
I give you the answer?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. You did. Yeah. And I can't wait to talk about the app, because I almost kind of gave away some good tidbits there, but I'll let you speak on those in just a second. And speaking, just to backtrack a bit, in regards to the book, there's a chapter called Small Stories of Small Miracles. And I found that to be really inspiring because not only did you highlighted a lot of the accomplishments of some of the people that have used the app and have taken your courses, but also it just kind of gives you, well, later on in the book too, you talk about like a 4-step method, which you just kind of, you touched on a little bit of that. But how important is goal setting when it comes to just trying to have a vision for what you're trying to manifest or some of the different experiences that you're trying to bring into your life?
Well, I think if we want to fall around like a leaf in the wind, like from falling from a tree, sit down every morning and do your whatever you do, Facebook messages and get other people to tell you what you need to do. However, if you'd rather have fulfillment, if you'd rather have your life unfold, the universe kind of needs you as a co-dreamer. In my own way, when I talk to God in my own way, I always get the question, what do you want? It's a magical, it's not even in words. It's more like, I would say, and I hope I'm, addressing this to the right audience here, we have a universe that is alive and that is listening. I mean, if you've ever created a parking spot when you needed it, I'm sure a bunch of people have. In every seminar I have, half of the group has already always had success in some area of manifestation. And it's just even maybe a small, I wish I had a parking spot right now, or you just say, I need it right now. I need to arrive on time, and things happen the way you declare it. So if you want things to unfold better than they are now, you need to put your mind or your emotions to the greater vision. And I think the universe wants us to co-create. I really believe that we are the hands and eyes for that divine universal force. And what I've found when people manifest things, they want to have the better car, the this and that, but they start realizing that they live in an interactive universe, which is a much more heart-filling universe in which you can communicate, ask for help, but also say, like, how can I be of help, right?
Yeah.
And the universe will put you into positions where you can help, and you will want to be the positive, forward-moving force to where you give. And that's the beauty of creating abundance or fulfillment for yourself. You become a wellspring, not only for yourself and your family, but for other people in your life. And that's ultimately where we need to go. It's like becoming a wellspring rather than this empty, sucking thing, this donkey that is trying to eat the carrot. We need to be the one that is eating the lavish food and is happy and grateful and has extra to share with others. So we become a force that is a positive agent of change, the hands and eyes of, I call the hands and eyes of God.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, and a lot of us, before you really kind of find out what the universe is trying to do for you or what your life is about, it's easy to get caught up in the iPhone, and you have the Facebook and the Instagram and the images and the appearances. And like you said, you kind of start your manifestation journey with wanting to get, you just get, gimme, gimme, gimme. And then all of a sudden it turns to, okay, how can I be of service and give back? I love that.
Yeah, and you were asking before, is it important, or why is it important maybe to set goals? And I said, well, if you want to be a leaf in the wind, just don't. But if you do want to become an agent of change in your own life and create a better life, you better know what you want, because the universe can't even give to you unless you say, well, actually, come to think of it, I'd like to feel like I'm in a beautiful environment. Number one, I'd like to be, or whatever it is, be in this beauty. And beauty suddenly becomes, it doesn't matter how big the beauty is around you. You determine that for yourself. It may be a room that is the next step for some people. It may be creating the sense of a home or a feeling of caring for your environment instead of just throwing around the clothing. It's like cleaning up, taking care of things, like creating a nest. And from there, when we take the first steps and we build the bottom of our pyramid, we start eventually coming to the higher levels, as Maslow has said, the hierarchy of needs. You cover the bases, and people, when they start manifesting and realizing that their mind is as important and their feelings in how their life is, they realize that they are empowered. Yeah. They're no longer effect of the world around them, but they notice that when they say thank you more often to the universe, they get more. It's like evening, the evening exercise of the app guides people through remembering what worked well and what to be grateful for. easily overlooked success strategies. If you want to, I mean, this is like people ask me, how did you get to the level of, multi-millions and blah, 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 and 4 houses all over the world and living and traveling all the time? And really, I would say focusing on what I want step by step. And my very first goal was to get a laptop in 1991, I think, or 1990. I did a course, and I wanted a laptop, and I wanted to create a brochure, and I wanted to pay my taxes that season, and I wanted to go on vacation to Hawaii to swim with dolphins.
Yeah.
Those were my 4 goals. Yeah. And so, you can say, well, that's rather small, Other people may have said, I want $1 million or so. Well, I figure you create results. Once you realize how you bake that recipe of how to create thinking positively or imagining things or feeling them, then you can plug in greater goals. And eventually, your needs get fulfilled and you start wanting to help other people to get a better life. And that's, I do teacher trainings. The next one, is coming up in Bali, and we train people on how to take other people through this. We have a coaching system that is very easy to follow, where people go through it step by step. We have online courses where people practice step by step over 40 days. That's how long it takes to change a habit, and how to create a better self-image, how to deal with negative emotions. Like, the biggest thing is people's subconscious is oftentimes, even mine, comes up with doubts, fears. It's like, but instead of repressing them, we give techniques and we say, okay, here's one. I'll give you 3 magical words, and you can already start using them. If you're in a situation that isn't working right or well to your expectations, just tell yourself 3 magical words. Say stop, look, and choose. And stopping is one of the easiest thing to do, but the most difficult to do when one is in the middle of the throes. Just take a deep breath, or 3. Just say stop, stop, stop. Take literally 3 deep breaths. Just do it. Hold one nostril closed, breathe in through one, then breathe out through the other nostril. Big breaths if you want. And in that moment of breathing, take a step back and look at where you're at. Even if you just want to appreciate the flower in the rose bush or wherever you are, or you're looking at a problem. Either way, you gain control by giving your soul the seat, the driver's seat, and go, okay, now let's look at it, not from my little self being all involved and tizzy. No, let's step back and let my soul step and look around and say, where am I? Or see some beauty, or look at the problem. And by doing this first step, you allow yourself to look at the hologram of your life. Rather than being stuck in the play, you look at it. And that's the moment you can make a change. And then you take this look and say, either I appreciate it, I love it, oh, this is beautiful, which raises your capacity to raises your vibration. It opens your heart, and then you have more energy to fuel your dream with. And then you choose, and you say, what I really want, maybe if it's a problem, and you can think of the solution and feel it in advance, rather than how you think or how we might think with our little puny human brain, how we might get there. We just give the universe a feeling of fulfillment, of like, I would feel this. And you give yourself the luxury of feeling that for a moment. And that alone, these 3 words, stop, look, choose, are going to help you get out of situations that are tricky and allow your soul and the universal power to enter you and to give you solutions from another dimension. And you will start training your intuition to work for you.
That is definitely a method that I will start practicing, because you're right about the subconscious mind. And not only is that helpful, I mean, and we'll talk about the app here in a second, but you have a lot of different tools to help people. And let's talk a bit about living from vision, because the company in itself, I mean, of course, you have the courses and all these other great things that you're doing, but what was the inspiration behind you creating this company that could kind of give back, that you're teaching other people how to go about living a better life?
Yeah. Well, the inspiration behind it came from both my husband and I met trying to figure out the secret laws of the universe. We had meditated when each of us were respectively 17 years old. He's 6 years older than I, so he'd been teaching yoga and meditation for a while, and I had been meditating for about 4 years when I met him. And so I wasn't a beginner, but still, I wanted to see real changes. And when we figured out how to do it, after you figure this out, you go like, oh my God, I have to tell everybody. And so our business was born. We found tools. I mean, honest to God, we went on a walkabout to find a time travel machine. Yeah. When I was 26, we went into the desert for 6 weeks and we said, give us a time travel machine, dear universe. And we found something.
Yeah, I read that one, yeah.
And we found an instrument, which is part of our Living from Vision overall umbrella of teaching people consciousness interactive technology. And this one is a little bit more on the technology side. The courses, which by the same name of our company, Living from Vision, teach internal steps, And so we have two approaches. One is for people, we have farmers who use these machines to create, I don't want to say fertilizers, but water with the energy as if fertilizer was in them, and the plants act as if they were getting fertilizers. So we train people on this, and people can actually, if people want to write this website down, you can read a book for free about it. It's called S like in Sam, E like energy, or actually subtle energy. S like in subtle, E like in energy, dash like a minus sign, number 5, just the 5.com, se-5.com. And you can download, when you sign up for my husband's newsletter, you can download the book, Regaining Wholeness Through the Subtle Dimension. An awesome book, no matter whether you are thinking of being interested in even going down that hole or not. But just knowing that information could be tremendously uplifting in your life, just reading what it's about, as well as all the newsletters that you get. But that's the utilizing machinery instruments. And we have, in China, they did a research study for 4 years with 40,000 people. And what they did is they transferred, well, it's a lengthier story, but they did these 40,000 people, and they found that with this instrument that is simply sending informational fields, they had a curation rate of 80%.
Yeah.
So then the other part of the company is Living from Vision, and we developed all of these things pretty much at the same time. We discovered things, and we got so excited when we found the answers. We wanted to tell the world that we can create changes, and this is the paradigm shift we're all moving into. Imagine Galileo 500 years ago, he said the earth is round and we are rotating around the sun.
Yeah.
Forget the flat earth thing, forget the forget the earth being at the center of the universe. Of course, he had to retract it because the church didn't like it for a while. But eventually, it made headway, and we are now sending rocket ships based on that theory over to the moon, to the Mars, and into the further out galaxy reaches. Only at that time, he was poo-pooed upon and maybe ridiculed, and some people, some daring souls, they said, okay, let's go with it. And they developed mathematics around it, and they developed flight. Would not happen if we thought we had a flat earth. We would be like hop. We developed circumnavigation, first in boats and then in airplanes, because we accepted the concept of the sphere, which we didn't have before. So it's what we're doing now by understanding that your mind interacts with matter at a molecular level, at a subatomic level, at the quantum level. Your choice, what you think about, creates, and what you feel especially, creates end results in the ripple effect of your reality. Now, imagine that in 1,000 years when more and more humans have figured out how to do it. That's what motivated us to do Living from Vision, and to teach as many people as we can.
Perfect. Yeah. And it is definitely showing to be a success, because I've used the Living from Vision app, and I found it extremely useful. I was actually trying to finish up a project that I started, and sometimes you kind of lose the fire, so to speak. You lose the
Right.
drive. And that's around the same time when I came across your book, Dream Big. And so I was like, oh, let me download the app. And so I started using it in the mornings and then in the evening. And it certainly helped. But I would like for you to just give us an explanation on how it works. And also, if you want to share where the listeners can grab it, that would be great as well.
Awesome. Yeah. Cool. All right. So how you can get it is by going to my homepage, and that's my personal name, Ilona Selke. And remember that Ilona, although it sounds like it's an E, it's actually an I. I'm German. I have a little accent. Maybe you still hear it. It's Ilona. Ilona Selke. S like in star, ELKE, Selke.com. IlonaSelke.com. So you can also go, that's how you can get there. Then you sign up for my newsletter and you get the app. So how does the app work? It's 12 minutes that guides you into a sort of reverie state, into a deeper feeling state where I guide you to be in touch, first of all, with your place of peace, with this internal state of quiet and calm. And most people find it much easier to follow guided meditation exercises rather than be told, sit still and imagine a positive thing. It's like, okay, sit still, don't think anything, don't think about the pink elephant or the whatever else pushes your buttons. No, just sit still and think about something good. And people find that a bit more challenging usually. Easier to get started on guided meditations, and that's what I did the app for, to help people focus first on their inner quiet and then create an internal positive self-image, and then ask themselves, what project do I want to create? And the second most important question I find is time to think about what is really important for my soul right now. So we focus on external goals, but also on internal, what really fulfills my heart and soul. And do that every day for about 10 minutes. The app, I think, lasts for 10 or 12 minutes, and you will start feeling happier, more fulfilled, and probably more already starting to create manifestations around you. Now, this is the Living from Vision Light app. The course itself is a 5-week course, and you can get there. You can also just go to the website, livingfromvision.com, and explore all the information and little informational videos we have there if you want to be guided more deeply. But just downloading the app is in the morning 10, 12 minutes, and then the evening about 8 to 10 minutes. Review your day. Make it a habit, whether you get the app or not, but just think of 10 things that you are grateful for today. It could be small things. It could be like the flower you saw. They smelled, my God, I smelled this geranium today in my garden here in Bali. I know it's cold in America right now, but it's hot here in Bali, and this beautiful flower. And I kissed it with my face, and I just held my face to it, raised in that perfume, and I thanked creation. I thanked God for creating this, and I almost felt like the creation touched my face, and I touched it by saying thank you. It's like a circuitry. If we can just remember to say thank you a little bit more often, you will create more positive events in your life simply by being grateful. So that's one thing we guide you through in the evening. And then equally important, you go through thinking about what worked well and what didn't work well, and what you really wanted. So those are 3 things you can do on your own, whether you have the app or not, but get to my website, Ilona Selke. It's ILON, like in Nancy, A, and then S like in Sam, or like in star, ELKE.com, IlonaSelke.com. Sign up for the newsletter. You get the app. Download it for either Apple or Android, and start exploring your mind, your inner emotions in a more guided meditation. So you create positive changes so that your life will really start expressing this quantum shift that we are about to make in our paradigm shift of society, that our mind and emotions and our consciousness really matter in how our lives unfold.
Perfect. Yep. I absolutely love that. Speaking of like the self-improvement, I know we're getting ready to wrap up here, but I want to have you to give us, I'll tell you what, we'll talk about some tools in just a second. But, like sometimes we want to say it's improvement in the health, improvement in the employment situation, improvement in our living conditions. And I know that you pretty much have given the background of what it takes to transition from situations that we don't want. You have to change your thoughts and your habits and you try to do something different mentally.
Well, you have to.
Yeah.
Okay, there are two questions. One is when you have a negative experience. I mean, it would be a little bit much for me to walk you through it. However, the children's app, my books, they all describe the steps. Even the book Dream Big. You go listen to the negative part, you find out what it really wants, and you pre-create the feeling experience of what it is that you really want. Okay, so your next question is, how do we do it? The fulfillment of your dreams or choices?
Exactly. And let's go. Absolutely. That's the next one. And I guess we'll go ahead and weave in the other stuff too, because I know that you've already given us some good techniques and things like that. But say, for instance, I don't know, maybe there's a health situation and we want to improve that. A lot of people will, like you said, they'll go online, they'll go to Facebook, they'll Google a lot of different things. But you said earlier that it starts inward. You have to go inward, whether that be meditation or whatever. What is your take on that? Like, how do we get the ball rolling when looking to change situations and we want to try to create a balance within ourselves?
Right. Okay. Well, I Dream Big Summit. I had these amazing 33 speakers. And one of the women on there, Jennifer, God, I hope I got her name right. Anyway, she's part of that package of my interviews deals. She told a story, and I'm going to just repeat this here, and it'll give you some of the steps, where she was bedridden, and she had children, and her husband had left her, and she didn't know quite how to get herself out of the mess. She hurt everywhere, and she couldn't function. She couldn't work, couldn't do anything. She couldn't even get up to really cook for her children at one point. And she felt so bad that she just was desperate. And sometimes in desperate situations, we ask for guidance, right? We ask for higher intervening forces. And I would recommend, if you are in a place where you really need some help, ask for that in your silent inner way of talking to the universe. Pray and say, guys, I really need help now. Yeah. So she did that. And to her, what came is just start, and this is a two-part process. She started simply by focusing on what was already healthy, because she had nothing other than her hands that felt reasonably good. So she went, okay, my hands are okay. They're functioning, I can feel good, and then she expanded it slowly but surely. More parts of her started feeling good. Now, another story was when I was here in Bali buying furniture for the retreat center. I came by this lady who was the husband, made our furniture, who I'd always seen for years already. And she now came up the steps to greet me. And she looked like, I don't know, I don't want to even say how bad it was. She looked terrible, emaciated, lost so much weight. And I was shocked to see her. And I said, well, what's happened? I speak Indonesian, And she's like, well, and then she pulled out pictures of what the doctors had given her, how her stomach looked on the inside. And they were like black spots all over. Terrible.
Oh, wow.
And she's like, well, she couldn't absorb food. And because she thought I was somebody and knew something, I guess she put a bit of faith in what I had to say next. And, it is, and I am saying this jokingly because I am just another person like everybody else, but I have done my homework. 15 years every single day I did these visual audio exercises. And then now I still do them about 4 times, 5 times a week. So I've done my homework. This is like 35 years later. So I told her, do this. Sit down every morning and feel the feeling of what it would feel like if you already had your fulfilled health state. In this case, your stomach, right? So I told her, just take 5 minutes and imagine how you would feel if your tummy was well, if your weight was the way you wanted it to be, and you were vibrant, and all those components for being healthy, pertaining to the stomach being healthy. All of it. Feel what that would feel like for 5 minutes and take this mini vacation. 6 months later, I come to her place, and she's the shining image of health. And I'm like going, I dread it coming there. And I'm like going, what did you do? What happened? She said, I did exactly what you told me to do. Every morning, I sat down and visualized and felt. I did just like what you said, how my tummy would be, how everything is clean and healthy and pink. That was her version of doing it. And she said, yep, that's how it all started, and that's why I'm healthy now.
Love it.
Oh, my God. I mean, this made me a believer. I mean, I love hearing all the results from all the people around me. I've done that in my own life, but if there is, whether emotionally or physically, a challenge, you go in there and you communicate with it and you say, well, what is it you're wanting to teach me? What, is there anything I need to learn? Or the next best question is, what is it you really want? And you can apply this in any part of your life. If you talk to your heart and soul, even the part that hurts, and you take it as, like I say, take it out like an image, like a hologram. Dr. Vern Wolf developed this technique. He called it holographic dynamics. Take it out and talk to this hologram and say, what is it that you've been doing? Messy things, oh God, yes. And then you say the most important question, what is it you really want? Mm. And if you already could have what you really wanted, regardless of whether you think it's possible or not, what would that feel like? Fundamental question you can ask yourself, whether you want to create something or whether you want to uncreate something or change a negative state. What is it you really want? And feel the end result of that fulfillment. So that's, even be clear on what you want, describe it in words, imagine what it would feel like, feel the feeling of that you would have if you had this fulfilled feeling, and then let it go and say, thank you, God, take care of it. And it'll come in at the right time, in the right place for you.
Perfect. I love it. Well, you have absolutely came in at the right time, in the right place. I'm pretty sure a lot of the audience members needed to hear that. And yes. Before we wrap up, Ilona, if you will, please give us, again, your website where we can get more information about your courses, your upcoming retreat events, and then also the book, Dream Big, The Universe is Listening, and also anything else you'd like to share, feel free to share it as well.
Okay. So basically, to get the app for free, which I really recommend, and I personally even listen to it myself, so it's good. I love it. It gets you started going inside, and then you do the inside work. Go get it from the website, ilonaselke.com. ILONA, S like in star, ELKE.com. It's free. You can get started, do it, work with it. You can do it for the next, however long you want. It's yours. The next one, if you want to explore it, you'll go on my website, ilonaselke.com, or go to livingfromvision.com. If you go to livingfromvision.com, you will get my previously best-selling book. It was on the shelves in bookstores for 13 years, so it's a good book. It's about dolphins, but furthermore, it's about the magic of the holographic universe. You can download that for free by going to livingfromvision.com. Living from, you live from a vision. Yeah. You live from vision. Livingfromvision.com. And you get the book by signing up for my newsletter there. It's called Wisdom of the Dolphins. It's talking about dolphins, the magic of their healing capacity, telepathy, all the things I discovered by swimming with wild dolphins that I look to find everywhere I could. But the gift you get is that you learn about the holographic universe and step-by-step how to also manifest. So in all my books, that one is for free. The other one, Dream Big, The Universe is Listening, you can get from Amazon or any of your bookstores, either in print or as Kindle thing. But ilonaselke.com and livingfromvision.com are the ways to find out more and get those free books or free apps. I wish you guys all the best, all of us. And for those who've already been on the path, you can deepen it. I mean, I still use the same tools. You just get better at what you do and learn the next step. In my book, Dream Big, The Universe is Listening, I describe how we shift time and space in a very dramatic way. So be prepared to get your mind really expanded while you read the book. Towards the end, the more magical, bigger stories come up, because I want to make sure that people get all the small steps in between. But it is phenomenal how much the universe interacts with you once you know how to talk the language of the universe, which is feeling and imagery, and pre-creating your success on the inside, first of all, and then working from the inside out.
You guys definitely get the book. I'm not even going to say anymore. It's a good book. And like I said, I'm into holographic universe now. So we'll definitely have to have you back to talk about some more of this greatness and this goodness that you're creating here in the world. Ilona, thank you so much again for your time. And we look forward to talking to you again soon.
Yes, thank you so much. I really love being on your show. Thank you.
Thanks for hanging out with us here on SOB. We hope this episode has been resourceful. If you'd like to check out the latest articles or follow Keetria's website updates, just log on to Keetria.com or follow her on Twitter at KEETRIA.